Hi, I'm JT. This is Rehana. Welcome to the Movie Club, now coming to you from this COVID-safe bubble.
Contrary to how you might feel, there's actually just the same curtain behind us. So if the special effects look a little bit too realistic, don't worry, we're definitely more than 10 kilometers away.
So this week we watched a very special movie called Pig. Rehana, do you want to give us a quick summary of what Pig was all about?
Oh, Pig is interesting. Imagine John Wick mixed with Ratatouille. Essentially, a chef that's decided to spend the rest of his life in a forest with his best friend who's a pig, happens to have that pig kidnapped and then goes on a rampage through Portland, I believe, in order to get this pig back.
I'm looking for a truffle pig. Someone stole her.
I don't understand.
Tell him who you are.
I find it interesting that Nic Cage mumbles for the first 40 minutes of the movie like he's just getting used to speaking to humans again, which is a really interesting character beat.
I agree. I actually didn't understand him for the first half of the movie, which sort of speaks to his character acting, that you could sort of feel the tenseness and the anger and the anguish through him without really Nick saying anything at all.
What are you thinking?
I remember every meal I ever cooked. I remember every person I ever served.
Yes, because Alex Wolff is the co-star of Nic Cage, and you might remember him from things like a Nickelodeon show where he did when he was a kid. He was also in Jumanji, the movie where he became The Rock, I believe, which is a great body transformation. And most recently, he played a teenage boy in the M. Night Shyamalan movie. So really, quite a lot of range for this young actor.
Quite a lot of range, but to be honest, I first noticed him in Hereditary, where he also played the teenage son of the main character, and he brings the same energy to this role as well. I mean, you think about someone who's disaffected, trying to make a name for themselves, but ultimately feeling like they're failing at the end of the day because they just can't gain their parents' approval. And that's what makes the relationship in this movie so sweet. Yes, you've got Nicolas Cage looking for his pig, but you've also got Alex looking for a father figure, which he finds in Nicholas.
I'd like to put you, this is a film about loss, but it's also a film about how much it sucks to be a chef.
Oh, especially that. Look, I'm not a chef. It irritated me, though, through the entire movie that he didn't really tie his hair up or wash his hands properly when he was preparing food. I was waiting for him to take a shower the entire movie, and it just irritated me when he never ended up taking a shower.
Well, I like the fact that he gets sort of beaten up in an early scene, and for the rest of the film he is bloody and beaten, and only a single character asks him whether he needs medical attention, which I thought was a lovely touch. But you're right, the hygiene in this film is very poor. To me, It felt like they could have shot this in a week and Nic Cage actually never got out of costume. Because it really just felt like that moment in time, and there were no sort of complex set pieces or anything like that, so I couldn't find it anywhere on the net, but I'd be fascinated to know, because it did feel like a really quick in and out sort of production.
I mean, it's interesting that you talk about set pieces, because this entire movie didn't need interesting set pieces just because the cinematography was so beautiful. In terms of framing, I normally don't pay attention to this sort of thing, but the use of doors consistently through the entire movie to drive the story along, just stunning. Like, again, no set pieces needed, just beautiful framing from shot to shot. I have to pause movies every now and then because I have a toddler, and I say it a lot, but it's so nice to come back to a still screen that almost looks like a painting.
It is a beautiful movie.
I agree, and I totally understand why this was a favourite at the Cannes Film Festival. It's a movie that I'd like to watch again, but it's one of those things that almost feels meditative when you're watching it first. I will say, though, try not to go into it expecting it to be John Wick. You will be let down at the end, but that definitely doesn't take away from the emotional punches that come through in the final scenes.
Yeah, if you can go into this movie expecting your expectations to be subverted, then you might get something really valuable out of it. As Rehana says, if you expect this to be a shoot 'em up sort of axe to head movie, you will be disappointed because there is a lot more to it than that.
There are a couple of scenes though where you're just waiting for Cage to cave someone's face in, and it just never happens.
I honestly, it did feel a little bit like it was all entree and no main course to steal a sort of a food metaphor, because there were so many scenes and so many characters that deserved a righteous whooping, and not to spoil anything, but as I say, expectations subverted. So look, I highly recommended from my perspective.
Highly recommended as well, guys. If there's one movie that you want to watch this year, this is it.
Nice. So Pig opens in cinemas on September 16th, if cinemas happen to be open where you live by that date. Highly recommended from me.
Same from me, JT. If there's one movie you see this year, it's got to be Pig.
This has been The Movie Club. We'll see you next week.
See you guys. Stay safe.